What's going on, guys? I'm back with another video, and this video is going to be about HPSP, the Health Profession Scholarship Program. It is a program that pays for medical school in its entirety. It pays completely for the tuition, and on top of that, it will give you a $20,000 bonus, and you'll get a monthly stipend of about $2,300 now. And then on top of that, over the summer months, you will do some military hospital rotation, and you'll get paid active duty when you are doing that. And I believe that's for about 6 weeks in the summer. So you'll get paid 6 weeks of active duty second lieutenant pay. HPSP, in a way, you could say that it is like ROTC for medical school, but there is no ongoing military requirement during the school year. In ROTC, you still have to meet up for PT, and you have to do military science classes and participate in the field problems. But with HPSP, none of that is required. You are a full-time medical student, and everything is covered in terms of tuition and the books and supplies and all that. The only military obligation that you have is in the summer months. With that being said, for HPSP, you have to serve 4 years. That's your obligation, and the 4 years are after your residency. So you get 4 years of tuition, and you get 4 years of stipend, 4 years of the book and supplies expenses covered, and then in turn you have to do 4 years of obligation to the military, which starts after residency, after your training. So HPSP, they do have different programs. So they also offer a 3-year and a 2-year even scholarship program, but the best bang for your buck would obviously be the 4-year one. Also, HPSP is offered by all branches of the military. So it's offered by Army, Air Force, and Navy. I did Army, and I've been accepted by Army HPSP. So this video is going to be mostly about the process that I had to go through to get accepted for that. All right, I'm just gonna use my phone because I do have some notes in there so that I don't forget anything to talk about. So first of all, you just want to hit up a recruiter, a HPSP recruiter. You could do a simple Google search for that, and you enter your zip code, and then you find the nearest recruiter from you, or you could just call the Go Army phone number, and then they'll help you get connected with a HPSP health recruiter. Second, once the recruiter has talked to you and he or she has some information from you, then they will set up an online portal where you have to do the online application. And in that online application, you have to upload a bunch of documents. For example, you will have to upload your social security card, like a picture of it. You may have to upload your birth certificate. You may have to upload your transcripts, your letter of recommendations, and etc. So once your online application is done, then you will meet with your recruiter face to face to sign some documents, and that takes anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes depending on how many questions you have. It's nothing too serious. It's just like basically you agreeing to them doing a background check for you, clearance, and regular military paperwork, like nothing too high threat. Next, I didn't have to do this, but if you have never been in the military, you will have to do this. It's called MEPS, the Military Entry Processing Station. So you go there to get a full physical done to make sure that you are medically eligible to serve in the military. So I didn't have to do that because I've been in the military already, and I've already attended MEPS before I enlisted, but you would have to do that if you want to go for HPSP. Just one note, if you are considering doing USUHS or like attending USUHS, which is the Uniformed Services University of Health Sciences, you have to do the DODMER for that. They do not accept MEPS. So with that being said, if you want to apply to both, like your HPSP and USUHS, then you have to do the MEPS and do the DODMER. And I know that because even though I am already in the military, I still had to do the DODMER for USUHS. For HPSP, I did not have to go through MEPS. I just had to provide them my PHA documents, which is the periodic health assessment document, which all service members have to do every year. Just a quick note on MEPS, it's nothing too crazy. They just want to make sure that you are physically okay. So like they'll check your blood pressure, they'll check your entire body, they'll make you do some weird movements to make sure that you don't have any limitations in your body. It's about 1 full day, but pretty easy. Next, you have to do an essay for HPSP, and the essay is pretty much why you want to be in the military and why you want to be like a military doctor. So that's really up to you, like how you want to answer that. I did talk about why I joined the military to begin with and my evolution from being in the military and being a military physician. And then I added some aspects from my personal statement from my AMCAS essay as to why I wanted to be a doctor. Nothing too crazy. It's got to be about 1 to 1.5 page single spaced. You don't have to go, too insane into that. Also in the application, you have to talk about your achievements and etc. in school, like in high school and also in college. So what I did was I pretty much had my medical school application in front of me, and then I pretty much just used that as information for my HPSP application, because practically they're asking almost all the same exact things, as in like what volunteering you have done, what have you achieved in terms of like awards, like Dean's List and etc. What extracurriculars you have done, like that shows leadership. So pretty much everything that you would talk about anyways in your MCAS application, they want to know that in your HPSP application. Again, not a huge deal because you already have done the hard work by applying for medical school. So now you just have to use that same information and just tweak it a little bit for HPSP. Another thing that you have to do is you have to get your fingerprints taken. Usually your recruiter will have the fingerprint machine and they will take your fingerprints. If not, you can always go to your nearest recruiting station and they will just do it for you. My recruiter was 2.5 hours away, so I just simply Googled nearest Army recruiting station near me, and I just went there and I got my fingerprints taken, so not a big deal. Lastly, the requirements for HPSP, it kind of varies by branch, but I know, like for example, for Navy, they require a phone interview, if not a face-to-face interview, but for Army, there is no interview aspect to the HPSP application. But in the Army, I know that they require a minimum of 500 MCAT score with a minimum of 125 in each section and a cumulative of 3.5 GPA. But with that being said, they do have waivers available, and it is not that big of a deal to get those things waived, especially if you've already been accepted to a medical school. If you can show that you've been accepted to medical school, then getting the waiver is not a big deal. Just know that Army does have that standard, so you just have to go through one more obstacle to get your application approved and accepted. For Navy, I don't think they have a numerical standard like that, but they do have some additional requirements, like for example, the interview. For Air Force, I have no idea because I only know people that have done Army and Navy. In terms of the timeline, I submitted my application, I believe in September, like mid-September, and the board convened in October. So the board is a bunch of military officers and whatnot. They just kind of look at your file and they decide if you'll be accepted or not. They'll also see your waiver. So they convened in October, and I found out by end of October that I've been accepted. And then in November, like early November, I had an official memorandum saying that I've been accepted by HPSP. So as you can see, it is not a very slow process. In about a month, you will find out after the board has convened. With that being said, they do have different boards. So October was the first board from what I can remember, and they go pretty much, I would say, almost every month. I know there's one in November, one in December. Pretty much every month to 2 months, they'll have a board. I would say that the earlier you apply, the better, because they have more seats available, but I could be wrong. Maybe in the early ones, they only want to get the most competitive ones. I was in the early one, and I got accepted.